Okay, good morning, everyone. It's morning here. It's actually 8:19 in the morning on Thursday, the something in October. Who cares? And I have a lot of stuff going on, been going on, going to go on. I've just been a very busy person lately. And I almost neglected to make my video this week, so let's get to it. Last Thursday, I went to Target and I went shopping with Fancy Pants, where I got new supplements. They are vitamin D supplements. These are 2,000 daily units. And I'm hoping that they'll be good, because when I went to the doctor, she said to just continue using the other supplements that normally, if you have a vitamin D deficiency, like mine, that they would prescribe, around 2,000 a day, maybe 3,000 or something, maybe 1,000. But that since I seem to be almost not quite deficient, using both the new standards and the little pills. Anyway, basically, I figured out she told me what I was supposed to be doing, but refused to give me the stuff to do it, but it turned out I don't need it because I can just buy over-the-counter supplements cheaply, and the only problem with them is that they may not actually be supplements at all, because supplements are not regulated by the FDA. So, if what I'm actually eating is fish testicles with no vitamin D content at all, I'm going to be unhappy. Not that I will ever know. Though that would still be a step up from sawdust and cardboard. Then, last Friday, I went to a seminar. The seminar was on forming magnesium parts, and it was kind of interesting. I was kind of annoyed that the guy, he had this wonderful presentation through most of the way, and then he finished his presentation with, "And thus let us praise the Lord." And I'm like, what's this got to do with your work? Nothing. So, anyway, he was an idiot. At least he knew something about magnesium. And then on Saturday, I went to the fair with my friends. One of my friends came from out of town, and we met up with Pam while we were there. Pam has a couple of friends, and one of them's a smoker, which was unpleasant. But we had some fun. We rode some rides. I rode the bumper cars. Don't need a license for that. And yeah, I had fun. First thing we got when we got there was a caramel apple. Not that... Yeah, I was there with a cute little friend of mine, and she was like, "Oh, let's get a caramel apple," and I was like, "Oh, sure." And then... Anyway, I was very glad when I found a wash basin where I could clean up. Then what happened? Sunday, went shopping, got groceries, had lunch with Fancy Pants, and then what happened? I got work done, lots of work, work. Wednesday! Yesterday, I was working on my work. Funny how that works. And I had an idea. You see, that's not an earthquake. I was struggling to get through some of my work, and I realized that the procedures that we're using, specifically interior and exterior and augmented Lagrange, modified something. Anyway, the things that we're doing are modifying the objective function so that you end up with a different function, which you then optimize using all the same techniques we already have. So, I got it in my head to modify some of the professor's code to make it so that the computer would do most of the work for me using code that he had already written. And there were only two little hang-ups. One was that I wasn't completely sure it would work. I thought it would. I was pretty confident it would, but I wasn't completely sure, and I couldn't just charge forward and test it because I was hung up on syntax in MATLAB. So I went to the professor and I said, "Hey, would this work if I just modify your code?" And he said, "Oh, you don't have to do that." I said, "But I want to. That's how I want to do this assignment." That would work, wouldn't it? And he said, "Well, actually it would, yes." And yeah, that is how it would work. And I got his help a little bit with the syntax of the problem. It turns out it's a syntax I've seen before. You have X and then you put the variable number that you want to access in parentheses. I've seen that before, I just didn't know what I was doing. And where am I going with this? Oh yeah, I massaged the work last night until I got it. I got the first answer that I was looking for. And I can't be sure it's perfect, but it is an answer, and if it's a wrong answer, it's going to be a wrong answer that we find because of the way that the problem is set up and stated, not because I was doing it wrong. By wrong, I mean that sometimes when you're doing optimization, you don't always find the best answer. It's the difference between a local minimum and a global minimum. What you want to find is the lowest point anywhere. But to find it, you just go downhill, and it's possible for you to go downhill and end up in a little valley, and for your algorithm to say, "Yay, we're done!" When if it would just go over that hill that you're next to, it would find the global minimum, but it won't go uphill, so it never finds it. I've been trying to figure out how to deal with that, and I have some ideas, which I'm going to talk to the professor about once I'm sure I'm doing well in his class, and that I'm not going to flunk out the semester. Not that there is any danger of that. Well, no more than is reasonable. I've actually been doing pretty well. I've got back some grades. Most of my grades are A's. I've had some recent hiccups with my homework because I had a whole bunch that was due all at once. So I've been trying to pick up my homework grades again. I've got a big week coming up. Oh yeah, the other thing, Fancy Pants had a birthday a week or two ago, and I wanted to take her out for dinner, or do something for her birthday. I suggested taking her out because that's something I'm pretty sure she would agree to. And so I took her to Sushi Sune, which is a good, authentic Japanese place that's on Hillsborough Street. It's right next to Arby's, and it's better than Arby's. And what else is there about it? I like the sushi when I go there. I get a dragon roll, which is a kind of eel roll that is wrapped with avocado, and it has some other tasty stuff in it. It's a little crunchy, and it's good. I also tried the eel special roll because I wanted a little variety, and I hadn't tried it before. It was not bad, but it was a bit more bland than the dragon roll was, and I like the dragon roll better. They are like 10% different in cost, but I still like the dragon roll better. But that's okay, because I tried something new and it was good. Fancy Pants also tried something new because she'd never been there before. She was kind of wary because when we got there was nobody else there at like 6. So, and then when we got the menus don't look very good because they're kind of old and wrinkly, but the food is good. Although I much recommend the sushi, as if the name itself didn't tell you. It's sushi sune, so get the sushi. Yeah, there's not much else to say. I've got a major report due next Thursday. I may have mentioned a awful, awful assignment where there was a program that I couldn't really figure out how to use. We're using it again for our combustion homework for next week. So I'm going to be fighting with that some of the weekend. And at least I won't have any optimization homework due next week because I had some due this week. Although I do have 2 assignments, the report and a smaller homework assignment, both due in dynamics. So I have a sort of busy week next week, but the only huge thing is my project. I think I can handle it. I don't know if I remembered to mention it earlier, but I sent off my resume and I sent off a work sample to the person who was something. To the person at the company that Fancy Pants recommended to me. And I think I'm doing well. I think I'm reasonably well suited. I'm going to send them my resume and work sample again around Thanksgiving when the person told me that all of the applications are normally done. So I'm gonna do my best, and all I can do is that. I've been thinking about my optimization project too. I think I figured out the scope of the project that I want to work on. I want to optimize the volume for water production in the solar still, but I don't want to go any further than that. Just the volume, maybe. Yeah, just the volume. That's really what I'm thinking. I'm going to have to run it by the professor and ask if it's too small a project. And I guess that's all. I hope to see everybody around. Bye-bye.